yeah, I am a slut and I am a whore, and I don't actually have an issue with that. And if you're going to try and come into like my little corner of the internet and try to use that as an insult, oh, buddy, good luck. I'm already wearing a big necklace that says slut on it. Do you really think it's an effective insult to try and come here and use it as a word of degradation? Like, you're not going to get very far acting that way.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Swapping Secrets. My name is Lawrence. I'm without Jess today. She's still away on maternity leave. But don't forget, if you haven't already, spank that subscribe button and give us a follow. It really does help us a lot. Today's topic is behind the fantasy of OnlyFans and adult entertainment. So we're going to be discussing what it's really like to build a career in the adult entertainment industry. Having a chat with the lovely Kim Cums here, Cums spelt exactly as the way you want it to be spelt, for an open and honest conversation about what's it like beyond the headlines and the clickbaits and the assumptions. And hopefully Kim can share what it's actually like behind the camera. So hi, Kim. Thanks for joining us. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm very well. We've met a few times, but we've never actually sat down and had a chat.
Yes.
Today is that day. I don't know much about you, so I'm going to learn along with the audience. Like, who is Kim? What was she doing before the adult industry? All that sort of jazz.
Good. Where would you like to start?
Whoa.
The beginning.
No. From conception, please. Maybe just like what was life like well before the adult industry, and then that's where the thought came from, and then actually moving towards that life.
Yeah, I would say I actually had a very personal life start to my adult industry. So I actually met my partner back in 2011.
Okay.
I was still living in the U.S. I was finishing up my undergrad where I was studying archaeology and environmental science. Mm-hmm. I met him online. There's a very long story there, but the short story is we basically met through World of Warcraft.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you're done.
And we have a little pun count in the corner for the show. Ding, ding, ding.
The rest of the show, you're just going to be on your own because I leave on a high, and that was it, and I'm there. See you later.
So we met through World of Warcraft, essentially, and through there we really started to explore kink together. We were very online, but we were discovering kink and BDSM. And then
through the game, you're having the conversations.
There's a lot of role playing within World of Warcraft itself. There's entire role playing servers where people are doing a lot of sexy role play. So it wasn't necessarily there for us, but we added each other on Facebook, and we had FetLife accounts and whatever that one was before FetLife that I can't remember what it was called. Where everyone was doing the quizzes about can't even remember what it was called anymore.
I only know of FetLife on you. Yeah, that side of my understanding is not so strong. Yeah.
So we started there. We started exploring, and then eventually I came here. I moved here. I did my master's degree, and while I was doing that, my partner actually knew somebody. So through there, my partner's friend had been doing escorting for a very long time, and I had always been very curious about it, for a long time in my life, but it's obviously not something you can do very easily in the U.S.
Where were you in the U.S.?
Midwest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very wholesome.
Yeah. Definitely
Midwest,
not legal.
Girly. Definitely not in a place where you can do it.
Yeah.
But when I moved here and learned that it was decriminalized, at least in that point at New South Wales, now in more places.
Yeah.
And through that, I met some people that were also doing porn, and so I started shooting more porn and adult content at that point. And then that was also combining with my partner and I always really loved Wicked Weasel Bikinis, which is an Australian brand. So for those of you that don't know, they make very, very tiny micro bikinis that are very, very sheer. And they also have their own community website as well. So throughout that whole time, we'd also been posting pictures on that community website, and I was already sharing stuff on Tumblr. And then, so since we already had a bit of a photography background anyway, and then I was filming adult content, we're well, this is silly. Why are we just only relying on other people to be shooting and creating content when we can obviously do it ourselves? And then that's essentially how I stepped into the industry.
This is you and your partner. When you say "ow," that's who you're referring to? Yeah, okay. There was getting into that decision of shooting adult content. What was that like how did that decision point come?
I don't know. I feel like I just kind of like fell into it because once you're already posting content of yourself on the internet in like very tiny, very skimpy bikinis, or even topless content. I did a lot of topless content as well. And I was already posting it on Tumblr. So I feel like there was a very, particularly in that era,
Yeah.
there was a very fine line between like sharing personal content and also kind of like being seen as somebody who creates adult content on Tumblr and gaining a big follower there. So there was almost not an exact decision point where we were like, hey, now we're definitely creating adult content versus what we were doing before, right? It was just kind of a matter of like, where are you posting it? Are we sharing it more widely now?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's that just that slow evolution of how things come to be, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah, right. Before or after the adult content stuff?
Technically, I was also doing a bit of webcam modeling
Okay.
as well. So there's kind of like a bit of webcam modeling when I was still in the US, then came here, started doing a bit of escorting work, then met some people that were shooting porn, like more formally in like a porn.
Here in Australia?
Here in Australia.
What are the laws around shooting porn here in Australia?
So it's generally accepted that you can shoot porn here. The rules are mostly around where you can host content.
Oh.
I wouldn't, most people say like don't host content in Australia because that's a bit of a legal gray area. And then the other whole thing and part of it, which is something that's happening right now in like a legal capacity, is obviously like we've had the Online Safety Act passed, which has had an effect on content censorship on the internet, and age verification and all the privacy things there. But then in alignment with that as well, the Online Safety Act also makes reference to the National Classification Guidelines. And the National Classification Guidelines are also under review at the minute because in terms of what a general person in Australia would consider acceptable content has definitely changed since the last time anybody sat down and took at the classification rules. So, but
so this, you mean then for clarity, the classification of like what's rated G, PG, M?
G, PG, M, and a lot of that applies to like formally, well, it applies to like formally classified content.
Yeah.
So it still applies more to like, if I wanted to post something online, I'm not necessarily expected to formally classify that content. But if I want to get it printed on a disc and sell it in Australia, then it actually needs to go to like the classification board and they determine what the classification is before you can release it. And that's a very formal and very expensive process.
Yeah.
And then also like print magazines, right? So like print magazines, like Penthouse and other things, like they are very constrained by what the National Classification Guidelines are as well. So all of that is
be wrapped in plastic and all that sort of stuff.
They need to be wrapped in plastic. And then it's not even just federally, then like individual states have their own rules about how and where things can be sold. So it's very complicated and very entangled. But generally you can host content. Like you can shoot content, but I would say like general advice I've always gotten is like not to host it here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully that makes sense.
That does make sense. I just thought there might be rules, like like the American porn industry, or at least the professional industry, is like where it's basically in two major cities. It's LA and Miami. I assume
a bit in Vegas
because of the
there's
laws,
a bit of a scene in Vegas.
What you're allowed to film and how it can and then like things like safe sex stuff, like where all that sort of stuff. Like, do they have any prescriptions of like how you can do this, and like you have to be doing, you must wear a condom for penetrative vaginal anal sex or something like this, or it's just whatever.
For Australia, no, we haven't had anything that's been that prescriptive within adult content filming, at least to my knowledge.
Yep.
In the US, I have no idea because I just haven't really shot anything there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But for Australia, we haven't really had any prescriptive stuff. I feel there's always been more like internal industry trends in Australia where people have tried to push towards maybe having or showing more condom use as kind of a way of like educating viewers.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm completely sidetracking this conversation.
No.
I always feel that gets into like this interesting place where like everyone wants to vilify porn and adult content and say like you're showing something that's a fantasy and viewers are going to assume that this is like what regular sex is like or something like that. I'm like, well, but like every other genre of media and film is allowed to have a fantasy aspect to it. And they're not expected to like educate the viewers on the appropriate way to do something.
Yeah.
And my example is always like the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Nobody goes and says, hey, Fast and the Furious franchise, you are going to have to do more education within your films because we don't think the viewers understand that you're not allowed to speed or drive a car out of the back of an airplane or speed and jump over a bridge. Like kids that don't know how to drive safely are going to learn how to drive recklessly from your films. Like that is not the conversation that we have. But then when it comes to sex, it's like, oh, sex always has to be realistic if we're showing it on film. I'm like, that's just a really unfair double standard. And then like forces sex workers to have to be both villains and the expected sex educators at the same time. I'm like, that is a ridiculous double standard, my friends. We can't do that. Stop it. You educate your kids.
Yeah, understanding that it is a lot of fantasy, or if you're specifically looking at educative sex education videos, or just like, I'm just into this wild shit and I'm into it. It's like, anyway, so I agree with you. Yeah, it's like you don't go to porn to learn about sex, to have sex education. You go to be entertained. Just by this conversation, it's just like very comfortable with sexuality, and I'm assuming. Has it always been like this for you?
Yeah, I feel I've always been very comfortable with my own sexuality. And obviously like grew up in a place in the world that wasn't very comfortable on a whole with sexuality because it was a very conservative spot in the Midwest. And so other people were just not very comfortable necessarily having conversations about sex and sex education. And when I was in high school, even still dealing with LGBTQ advocacy and running my school's Gay Straight Alliance for a few years, even that just made
waves.
School administrators so uncomfortable, even with that. So, yeah, but I've always been very comfortable with it. And obviously, like, you still get almost, like, more and more comfortable with it as you get older and explore kind of, I don't know, other alternative lifestyles, as I'm sure some people would
but doesn't everyone have an alternative lifestyle? So that, like, no path is exactly the same. But anyway,
I agree. Whether you're playing World of Warcraft or having sex with strangers, I think both are very valid. And speaking of like, I guess identity and stuff. So you're saying you've always been sort of comfortable with that. Because you're wearing a necklace there that says slut, which I love. I'm not sure the viewers can actually see that. You might have to move the mic a little bit.
I lean off to the side a little bit.
Lovely. In embracing that, I think it's really powerful, and I really admire that about you. When did that come about? Is that always been sort of there, bubbling underneath, or did it sort of come to you, and suddenly said to you as a part of your identity, this is who I am? How did that evolve for you as a person?
I would say the necklace itself, the slut necklace itself, is a bit of a newer iteration thing that I've started wearing. But I've always felt very strongly about word reclamation and like a sexual space. And so, and I guess for audience context, I post a lot of very spicy content on the internet and on Instagram with like very sheer dresses or mini dresses, and out in public and places where people would not necessarily like expect you to be wearing such outfits.
Don't tune out just yet. We're going to share where you can find this stuff later. Hold on.
And yes, and so I feel like part of it, and why I also started wearing the necklace, was because everyone has had like nasty comments on the internet at some point in time, or people trying to say like, oh, you're a slut, you're a whore, like you're just doing something for attention. And I'm like, well, yeah, I am a slut and I am a whore, and I don't actually have an issue with that. And if you're going to try and come into like my little corner of the internet and try to use that as an insult, oh buddy, good luck. I'm already wearing a big necklace that says slut on it. Do you really think it's an effective insult to try and come here and use it as a word of degradation? Like, you're not going to get very far acting that way.
I mean, in the Game of Thrones, Tyrion Lannister has that, I can't remember verbatim what he says, but it's just like, whatever you perceive as your weakness, wrap yourself in it, and no one can hurt you with it ever again. It's just like it's yours to own. So it's just like you're a bastard, and it's just like I'm a dwarf, I'm a slut.
And what are you gonna do about it? And just stop trying to say it like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
We should all be a little sluttier,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
freer in our lives.
100%. So this is obviously you're out and proud with this. How much of this is there's the persona of Kim Cums, and then versus what it is for you just in your just day-to-day life. Like, how do you? Is there a stark difference? Where do you find the balance if there isn't? If there is a difference, rather.
It's a good question, and I think it depends a lot on the day. So a lot of my content is just from my daily life anyway. Like, I don't necessarily go out and try to say, all right, today I'm going to go out and wear a particular outfit and shoot a bunch of content and then post it on the internet. Most of my content is from, hey, I'm wearing a dress like this, and I went out to lunch, and I went out to dinner, or to the movies, or to the beach, or something like that. And I just try to share parts of my daily life with the world.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like a persona that I'm putting on, if that makes sense. But then on the other hand, like, do I dress like this most of the time? No, I'm a regular person, and I'm walking around my house. Still maybe not a lot, but like
the shoes could get uncomfortable walking around.
The shoes would get uncomfortable.
Trudging the aisles of the supermarket,
And, my apartment is carpeted, not very practical for 7-inch platform stripper heels.
Can you lift those bad boys up a little bit? I want our viewers to take note.
Yeah,
those are really impressive.
Aren't they cute though?
They're kind of like the ones you'd had like fish in with the water, like swimming around in the 70s.
And I just got a new pair, and just down the middle, like the waterfall glitter. It has that like inside of the shoe.
Awesome.
So
what a cool idea.
Those are super cute. I was really excited. And it's like pink confetti glitter, and I'm like,
I love it.
Just be mesmerized.
Awesome.
People on acid just like,
Hey, my tits are up here.
Well, it's funny because I've been to a number of parties at OSS over the years, and for the 3Cs ones, I've been wearing a pair of like light up heels that can also like
only light up when you're like
elevated.
They do make them that like they'll sync with the music and stuff too. I don't have that type of pair, but they'll have like a little microphone in it, and it will like the lights will change and with the music, which would be funny because I'm sure if somebody like moaned really loudly or had like it would clock that. Yeah. Like probably like go off like a strobe or something.
It's just like
I love
sensory overload. I'm dying over here.
I have a fucking seizure fucking you. Like,
yeah. So obviously you're out. You have very public. So I imagine typical questions like friends and family all know about this. I imagine.
I would say,
yeah. How's that experience been? And do you have any advice for people who are contemplating this kind of work and the ramifications of that?
I think I'm the worst person to ask because I feel I've been very privileged and very spoiled with the friends and the family that I have in my life. And I know other people would not be as lucky necessarily to be accepted in that way. Even my last corporate job that I recently left, I got into that because I built my own KimCums.com website completely from scratch. And then through tech conferences related to the software that I used, I then met people. And then when I was looking for a job in tech over COVID, because I was really burnt out, I was like, hey, you guys are hiring. And my friends were like, yeah, absolutely. Come into like the corporate tech world, knowing fully well that I was a sex worker and that I had even like hosted my content on their hosting platform. So like when people ask me that, like, oh, how would you navigate that? I'm like, I don't know, because I have just been so spoiled and fortunate in my life. I haven't really had to deal with those types of like negative consequences or isolation. But obviously it's something that you need to be aware of, and you need to make sure that you have some type of support system. But
or like we're just talking about, you arming yourself in against the stigma that you may face or likely do face, and you just have to accept that you're either going to be upset by it or just like choose maybe like, I don't care if like that's going to be something.
Yeah. And I also know I'm not going to be everyone's cup of tea.
For sure.
And to a degree being really out and face out, because I've always been a face out sex worker.
Yep.
You're almost filtering people out at the door. Like, if they don't like it, they're not going to get very far saying like, I don't like the fact that you do this. I'm like, okay, well then
why are you talking to me?
why are you talking to me? Like, we're probably not going to be a good fit. Like, you're not going to convince me otherwise. Like, you not liking this is not going to be the pivotal moment in my life that makes me somehow re-examine something and regret all my life choices, because I thought very hard about my life choices and I'm enjoying all of them so far in full.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a difficult thing to give other people advice, just because, I can imagine that if I had more backlash from people that were very close to me, that would have been
absolutely
a lot trickier to deal with.
On the topic of stigma, we are sponsored by Stigma Health. So you've heard of Stigma Health?
I love them. I use them, actually.
Oh, great. We're getting double endorsements.
They're a delight.
Match made in heaven.
So Stigma Health is a online service where you can order sexual health screenings and take that request to your local pathology. So no need to go to a GP or have that conversation or spend extra time doing that part of the step. Just go into Stigma Health, fill out your details, and they take Medicare as well. So you just put in all your details there. It's super quick, 10 minutes, and then you can, like I said, get it delivered to your phone, take that form to your pathology office and get your test done, and then your results come back in a few days to your account on your phone. If you use the code SECRETSPOT20, that's SECRETSPOT20, you can get 20% off your order. You can also multi-buy your referral. So if you are in the adult entertainment industry or the non-monogamous lifestyle with different partners, and that's something that we recommend you do, you can do that, and then you can save even more if you order. So thank you very much, Stigma Health.
Can I add there that the bulk referrals are so nice?
Yeah.
So even though I don't film content super consistently with other people, it always ends up within like a 2-month period, and you usually need your test done and to be clear within 2 weeks of your filming date with whoever you're filming with. And it just gets really weird going into the GP and being like, oh yeah, I know I was just here and all the results are fine, but like I just need the date to be for the next 2 weeks. So it's so nice with the Stigma Health one just to buy a bulk, and then you just only have to walk into the pathology place and not have to like keep asking for a referral and keep having to re-explain yourself. So anyways, I just love Stigma Health. That's completely unpaid sponsorship on my part. I just genuinely love them.
This is so talking about that those protocols. Is that just a industry protocol, or it's not legislated anywhere?
It's not legislated. It's just an industry protocol. So it's been like that in Australia for as long as I've been shooting formally with companies and with other individual performers. I think we've all kind of collectively landed on the 2 weeks because obviously like there's testing window periods with different forms of STIs, and so 2 weeks is kind of...
Is it 2 weeks and then there's a baseline test, and then 2 weeks later you do another test right before shooting?
So if you get to set, you're expected to have test results that are clear, that have been taken within the past 2 weeks of shooting, if that makes sense.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
What about things like just, 2 weeks, there's enough time in there to do other things with other people? That's just on a please don't do that? I think there's definitely a please don't do that. I think there's and this is where you obviously still have to trust the other performers that you're working with. Sure.
And be cautious about that, because obviously you can't control other people's behavior when they're off a set or if they're doing really, really high risk things. So I guess also trying to choose people that have a really good professional reputation. Or who are maybe even like closely connected to like, swinger circles or kink circles, and just have like that deeper understanding of like the importance of disclosure and safe sex.
Yeah. What would be the higher risk? I mean, because I imagine like for sexual health screening, this is so you can have unprotected sex on screen, on camera? Yeah.
But even if I'm shooting protected with somebody completely, let's say, I would still expect them to have those tests anyway. So it's not like you can get around not having gotten your test done and say, hey, we're just going to shoot protected today, because it's still a professional expectation that you've shown up with all of your tests done.
Yeah, okay. Cool, nice.
On that as well, maybe deeper into like the specificity of the adult industry, how have your experiences been since filming in Australia and producing content? Have they been mostly positive? Is it quite a small sort of everyone talks to each other kind of industry, so you kind of know who's dodgy and who isn't, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'd say it's changed a lot in recent years.
Okay.
So when I first started back probably like 2013-ish with more of the local production companies, there were a lot of like really sweet queer and indie production companies around Australia. And I would say everyone really did know each other, or at least know of each other. And if you needed a performer reference to say, yes, they're polite, they're respectful, they follow consent guidelines, all of those things, you'd be able to find somebody that had shot with them and get like a review of their behavior on set and everything. And then obviously like COVID hit, OnlyFans was getting really popular around the same time. And we've had so many just, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I think it's great that more people have access to do and shoot and explore adult content if they want to do it. But I think it's a lot more isolating when you're only shooting OnlyFans stuff, and it's so much harder to meet people and be connected with fellow sex workers. Because it used to be, particularly there's a lot of people that used to shoot down in Melbourne. There were a lot of like little companies like Girls at West, Late Southern, and that was always really great because you did just get to know people and they did become friends and you'd hang out outside of work and there was just a really strong community feel. And now everyone's very much off on their own, shooting content in their bedrooms most of the time. And I think it's something that we've lost a little bit, and it's really hard to connect with people. And now I'll shoot with overseas people and they'll say like, oh, hey, Kim, you're in Australia. Have you ever shot with so-and-so? I'm like, I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
Like, ever. And I'm like, and that doesn't mean anything about their reputation or anything. It's just like everyone's posting on Instagram and you don't even know if people are in Australia half of the time because they aren't posting that they're necessarily in Australia and that's where they're filming and shooting from.
Yeah. Because it would be I mean, I see like I'm on the top 0.1% of, you know, content creators on OnlyFans. So that means there are people at the top of the, you know, the food chain, I suppose. Yeah, but there'd be thousands, right? It's like how, you couldn't know each other. And so, I mean, I've listened to podcasts about the American porn industry where it's just like, basically it's just like female to male talent out is like, it's like a 10-to-1 ratio kind of thing, right? There's way more female talent than there are male, or at least reputable male talent, right? So how does that go? Like, I mean, I'm sort of like more interested in this whole OnlyFans thing and how that works. Like, how do you, you know, when you're filming male-female scenes and finding decent male talent?
I don't have a good answer because I've had such a hard time finding decent male talent. And I also just get a lot of messages from people that are like, hey, I want to be in content. I'm like, that's cool. Have you shot any content before? Do you even have your own account? Have you done anything? And they go quiet. So male talent has always been difficult to find, but I think a lot of guys think, oh, I like having sex. I can do it on camera. And I'm like, well, doing it on camera is actually a lot more difficult than even just having sex because you have to worry about like camera angles and there's going to be possibly other people in the room depending on how you're filming. There could be somebody like right over you.
Yeah, it's not an erotic experience from what I understand.
It can be very functional. And people be like, oh my God, you get turned on? I'm like, I'm thinking about like the lighting and the camera angle and all of those things. And even when you're editing it, you're like, hey, we should have lit it a little bit differently like this. I'm like, it's not necessarily, my end goal is to like make something sexy for the people watching it, but that doesn't mean the process of actually making it is particularly sexy. So most of the time you have people just emailing you that are like, hey, I want to have sex with you. I'm like, well, that's cool, but that doesn't mean you're going to be good at filming content.
Yeah. So what does your average week look like? Like, is that your main thing now, OnlyFans content, or Kim Cums, your website? Like,
yeah. So I still make more of my money from escorting than from content. And I would say it's kind of probably maybe like, it depends on the week. Like sometimes the website makes more money. Sometimes OnlyFans makes more money. OnlyFans content, I've kept my price on OnlyFans like really, really low because I don't want to have, like if you charge a lot, there's like an expectation. You're going to be like posting like a hardcore scene every single day or something like that. And I am just not that type of content creator. I am way too lazy for that. I'm being 100% honest. Like I'm not going to do it. So I've kept that like pretty low just so it can be a place where I can like share those nice, sexy daily highlights, post content that Instagram is deleted or that I absolutely cannot share on Instagram. And then like have a space where people can come in and to my messages and chat and get to know me a little bit better.
Yeah.
So OnlyFans has been good for that. And then other than that, like my week for kimcums.com, I do one big post a week on kimcums.com. And so that's usually like a full scene or a full pic set. So I'll spend a week editing that, working on the promo for that, and then posting that, usually on Thursdays. Sometimes on Friday. Okay. Depends on how the week goes.
So it sounds like, if I'm reading this right, most of your week is spent up in front of a computer editing and sorting and picking stuff to do.
And snuggling with my cats. That's
yeah.
Comfy chair, sweatpants, cats, fighting with Adobe Premiere Pro. You know, that's
pretty hot.
The week.
And it's kind of
sexy.
It kind of answers maybe my next question, but like, what's a myth everyone thinks is your reality?
I imagine that people just think I'm like dressed like this
all the time
in my house, waiting for somebody to call me for a booking.
Yeah, you constantly see
like this. I'm just lounging, looking really cute, and I am not. I am sitting, in front of my computer with a cup of coffee, and my cat's poking me and walking across my keyboard, and usually like some podcast in the background that I am listening to. And yeah, that's it. Like the reality is probably not very sexy. I am just like a bit of a gremlin when I am at home, if I'm being honest.
You did mention the person you were dating. You're dating the same person? You're still in a relationship now? 15 years later?
Yeah, met them 2011. So yeah, 15 years and still going.
Yeah. How's that relationship changed or evolved over the...
Just gotten stronger.
Yeah.
Really. So people ask me a lot and they're like, what does your partner think about everything that you do? Surely they don't want you doing sex work or doing this, or like, why don't they provide for you in a way that you don't have to do it? And I'm like, guys, like they're the ones helping me take all of the photos and edit my content and buy me the sexy outfits and stuff. Like their encouragement and support to be in a place where I can explore and express my sexuality is like so critical to everything that exists in my life. And they've just continued to be that very solid rock for me. Like, no matter what else is happening. So yeah. I love them to bits. But people are so funny. I'm like, who do you think is at the grocery store with me in all of those photos where I'm wearing a sexy dress, like at the grocery store or at the beach? Do you just think I hire somebody?
Yeah.
On like those days when I go out? I'm like, no.
Are people like hitting you up though? Like, I would love to date you, or you can filter out between people who are just like, they're into the idea of you versus actually getting to know you, what it is to be in a relationship.
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good temperature on what somebody's angle is when they're messaging me.
Yeah.
So I know some people are like,
which website you would direct them to.
Yeah. You go over here. Yeah. But I've also met some really, really lovely people, particularly here, who have become like very good friends.
When you say here, do you mean
like at OSS?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking in Sydney, Australia.
No, at OSS. Because I think it's just such an open-minded community anyway, with like a lot of overlap. So it's just easier to find people that don't necessarily like see your, because again, I don't even necessarily put on that much of a persona, but people that don't necessarily like project that idea of what they think your persona is onto like every interaction with you. But yeah, I get plenty of people that are like, oh no, I don't actually want to like book you. I just want to like take you out for a drink. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, but like, what if I met you here? I'm like, yes, if you meet me organically, like at a D&D convention or at OSS or someplace else where we clearly have an overlapping interest and we'd potentially become friends anyway, then yeah, absolutely. Like that's a different circumstance, but don't like, when somebody messages me and they're like, oh my God, I love all of these things. Yeah. That's cool. I'm like, you didn't even provide your name in the email. Like, I know nothing about you. Your phone number, blah, 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 or email address, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
like
it's all about how I serve you, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so that's true of anyone, right? It's just like, you hear people falling in love with their therapist. It's like in a different time and place, sure, you might have been in a relationship with this person, but that professional relationship has now been established. Too bad, so sad. look, we've obviously been dancing and flirting around this topic, but before we do that, just wanted to say thank you to our other sponsor, Flirt, flirtadultstore.com.au. You can go online, buy sexy outfits like these shoes that Kim's wearing, toys, lingerie, other little bit of other bits and pieces of adult paraphernalia. And if you use the code SECRET15, you get 15% off your order at checkout. Or if you want to visit them in store here in Sydney, they're in Darlinghurst. You can go see them and say hello to there and tell them we sent you. So thank you very much to Flirt Adult Stores. We've mentioned this a little bit, like coming to OSS. So, and this is where I've met you a few times, but what brought you to OSS and when was the first time you came along to the club?
Yeah, very early days.
Yeah.
With Lucy B.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
At the old location.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I've always loved OSS because there were other clubs around at that point in time. But Our Secret Spot very quickly became my favorite. And then just have attended various parties over the years.
Yeah.
And some of your newer parties I'm particularly enjoying.
For those, like anyone who's sort of read through our website, and I imagine you have, we do state in our rules that we ask that there is no solicitation of sex work inside the venue, but we're obviously more than welcoming of sex workers and anyone in the adult industry. And it's something that the staff bring up to me from time to time when, you know, it's quite apparent that their guests have come in where usually the guy has booked an escort for the evening, and how do we deal with that, and what is the go here, and then the difference between someone like you coming in for you. It's not. I'm not here. Presuming it's not under a client worker relationship. This is here for my own. I'm here for my own enjoyment. I don't even know why I'm rambling about this, but I just I want to acknowledge that people just go, hey, you guys say no sex workers. It's just like, no, I'm just making it clear. It's like, don't come into the club and just say, hey, if you want to play with me, it's going to be an extra $500 or something like that. That's that's not in line at all with like what we're trying to build.
It's more nuanced than just, you know, black and white.
Yeah.
It's specifying the difference between the people who attend versus the intention of attending.
Yeah. So, okay, I have a question out of this. Is that you've come here for your own enjoyment, for your own party, whatever it is. Have you been recognized as Kim Cums, and what do you do? Like, have you ever felt like, oh, maybe I was interested in this person, but now they're like sort of fanning over me, and I'm like, this is putting me off?
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's happened more like the last 2 times that I've been here than like ever in the past, and so that's a very fresh thing that I'm trying to process, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So everyone's been really lovely. Everyone's been very polite about it. But I was here for the Playhouse Under 40s this past weekend. Great party, by the way.
Oh, really enjoyed it. Tell me give me the feedback.
Really loved it. Couples were all really nice. Everyone was fantastic. I think you did a great job, like vetting the applications, like the vibe.
I screened your application as well. Yeah. It's like, there's Kim. Send the
so that was all really good. But I definitely had a few more people recognize me, and it was interesting because I had come with a very good friend to that party, and somebody had said hi to that friend who I hadn't met before, and I was like, oh, hey, hi, I'm Kim, and they're like, oh, hey, hi, nice to meet you. They apparently went out for like a smoke or something, and then somebody else that was out there was apparently like, oh, hey, there's like some Instagram OnlyFans chick here. And he's like, oh my God, like, who is it? And they're like, oh, it's Kim Cums. And he's like, oh, the Kim that I just met, like, playing pool by the table, like, with her tits out. And I was like, and they were like, yeah, that Kim. And he was like, oh, okay. So he comes up and he's like, oh, I hear you're like you're a celebrity on the internet, or you're a big deal or something. And I was like, no, I'm just Kim. I'm still.
Now Kim came to you.
Yeah. So like, I don't mind people knowing, or even people wanting to like chat and discuss it, but I think because I'm always here in like a personal capacity, usually with my partner, sometimes with like a really close play partner, like I just still don't really know how to navigate those conversations yet. And I still feel weird because, like, again, I never go out to post or share content on the internet in any way other than, hey, this is me, and I enjoy sharing little bits of like my personal life.
Yeah.
And then so when other people see it and they're like, oh my God, I recognize you because you're internet famous. And guys, like, I'm not even that. I don't even feel I'm that internet famous. This isn't an ego thing. It's just weird for other people to then have that projection and perception upon me, because in my head I'm still just me and I happen to be sharing things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Is it a turn off, or is it like you said, you're just not sure? Like, is someone just like, I just, like you said, you know that some people would know, and it's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or
You don't know what the intention is.
Yeah.
Almost. And then you're kind of overthinking, like, what's the intention? Then, like, are people coming here to try and get a chance to, like, have sex with me? And then, like, is that an unfair projection for me to be putting onto, like, other people? Like, again, I don't have an answer that's clear in my head to that either.
Yeah. I have a similar experience inside these walls only. Like I'm obviously well known inside this building.
Yes.
When I come in here, and so sometimes there is that definite feeling that I have that people are talking to me or interested purely because of my position in this business. And I've had a talk to, I've talked with my wife about this over time. She's just like, how does that make you feel? Like, if like, a girl is flirting with you or she's interested, but it's apparent that it's like she's just interested because you're Lawrence, the owner of OSS, rather than who you are.
Yeah.
There's been a time where it's just like, fine. I'm like, if that's what it is for you, it's like I'm okay with it. It's just like, look, we're playing with each other. It's not like I'm having a relationship with you. Just like, are we having consensual fun? Great. Are you getting something out of this? Great. Am I getting something out of this? Yes. We both walk away happy. I don't know. Sometimes, and then like more lately, I'm like, it does sometimes make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. Where it's just like, you don't like me for me. It's just like,
You didn't get to know me.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the night and what you're feeling.
Yeah, definitely my mood. Like if I'm just feeling like
you just want to fuck, or you want to like make a connection.
Yeah.
Maybe, or maybe both. I don't know.
Just not feeling like I'm just
I got to have sex with Lauren type of thing.
Although sometimes that is like a bit of a like, I'm a bragging point.
That's a sick flex, honestly. I'd embrace that.
Yeah. If I take that on the flip side, though, and somebody did know who I was, and then they didn't tell me, and then I found out later, I also don't know how I'd feel about it. So I don't think that I can even give somebody a clear way to navigate that with me, because I don't, again, it's so mood dependent or based on how I'm perceiving things.
They do mention it. It's like, look, they don't want it to come across as like, I'm interested in having sex with you because you're Kim Cums and I subscribe to your OnlyFans, versus, oh, I actually like you, you're hot, like, and we're getting along. Sex would be really great right now. Like the difference between that and like, I can see why people might go, I'm just going to withhold that part of it because I don't want to make it sound like unless you're just really upfront and go, look, I know who you are, but like it doesn't matter to me. It's like, but
it's not driving my attraction necessarily. It's just, I don't know. I'm feeling the vibe. Yeah, maybe.
We have no answers. This is the podcast of no answers. So like, anyway,
people are gonna hate that.
Okay, so someone listened to this episode and only remembered one thing about Kim, not the performer, but the person. What would you want that to be?
I know I got this question ahead of time, and I swear I did think about it.
As we've established, you're lazy, so
I'm lazy, and I also just, again, I don't always have good answers for things. I think hopefully people will just see me as like a more well-rounded person and maybe not just project their assumptions upon me. But I don't know what those assumptions are. So actually, if I can briefly flip this closing question, because you said at the beginning of this, you're like, I don't actually know you that well. Like we've met a number of times over the years, but like if you had just seen my socials, like what would your assumptions about me have been?
Oh, hang on. I want to try and strip away it's tough, but I feel like maybe I'm not because my understanding, because I'm in the adult industry and I know, like, I know people like you, and I know that they are a three-dimensional person with a life, and like, so I look at these when I see like accounts like this, and I was just like, I know what it's like to be the partner. I know what it's like to be the person behind the camera, and I know what it takes to be this person online. So I don't automatically just go, that's that, and they are the way they are. Oh yeah, I love this. Do you know if that makes sense? Okay, but if I took myself out of that, I guess I'd be like, oh, she's a dirty slut who's up for it in her butt. That's what, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, I like to rhyme. I don't know if you like it in your butt, but anyway. It would be hard to separate the sexuality component of your persona from a conversation that I'd be having with you, because all I'd be thinking about is, oh, I've seen her suck all these cocks,
or I've seen her naked or something.
I've seen her naked, and it's just like, oh, it's like, I've always wondered how it would taste. You know?
But it's a trap because you're going to get stuck in a post-coital rant about Australia's legislative landscape. I don't know.
Like we did. I'm here for you guys. It's just like, Lawrence, these aren't the questions you wanted to ask. It's like, I don't care about the legislation of like filming a porn scene in Australia. You should care. It tells you a lot about how our society thinks about adult entertainment.
If I may give my impression to you, Kim, I would say on the surface level, definitely a slut, and I think that's awesome. Underneath, I think you're a very intelligent, brave, and I think thick-skinned person. Confident is probably a good word. Yeah, that's how I would perceive you. I mean, even not just through just meeting you, like honestly, online, it kind of comes across in ways as well, because your persona and your real person that you are kind of blend together. So that's how I'd interpret you.
This is why I want a camera in, because you're literally doing this, game. Like, not even like. No.
This is me just fangirling over here, right?
Yeah. I want to hear about you. Thanks for that, by the way. That was great.
Thank you.
All right.
I feel like I can say a little bit more to you now when I see you at the club.
Please do.
Instead of nice tits. No.
It's like, Jesus, Lawrence, always like that. I'm the actual opposite. I was just like, I would never say
I'm
that.
the awkwardest person on club nights. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Really?
People are like hi, and I'm like hi, and I'm like I don't know what to talk
I'm
about,
super
guys.
good. Like, yeah, I'm so bad, and it's just like, and then if I am interested, I'm like, I don't want them to feel like. The inverse of that is like, I don't want them to feel like they've got to do anything because of who I am.
Yeah, I was gonna wonder, like, do you ever worry about like that power dynamic of people feeling like,
Definitely.
hey, you're one of the owners, like I don't feel I can say no, even though you guys do such a good job. Like,
Yeah.
saying it's all about consent and stuff. Is that in the back of your head a lot of the time?
Or the professionalism of that, right? Where it's like, I'm here and people they've paid money to come and like effectively put money in my pocket, and now I'm like going, let's have sex together. Yeah, we're like,
Who's soliciting?
I know. And I'm like, oh, sometimes it's a bit of but I just have to put it down and just put it out there. And I am getting a lot better at that. Mostly thanks to my wife for just be direct. Right? It's like, hey, I'm interested in you. It's like, and then just go with it. So, yeah.
I love it. Yeah, very good.
Thank you very much for watching and listening to this episode. If you have any feedback or you want to send any comments, do so on whatever you're listening to, Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is these days, Apple Podcasts, I can't remember. And don't forget to spank that subscribe button. We're on brand here. And rate us 5 stars for sexiness. And don't forget, we have our Patreon account where you can get extra dirty, spicy content. And our spicy members are one of the member levels, get a shout out on episodes. So Ben P, David G, Ryan, Arkesh V, Damo, Honey Cherry, and RA. Thank you very much. And all our naughty members, you're on screen now as a thank you. Kim, is there anything you would like to promote, shout out, let people know about?
Just shout out that my website, kimcums.com, is on its 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
It's been going for 10 years.
Yeah.
So would love it if you stop by and check things out. There's tons of free previews and things to browse and explore and discover. So would love to see some of you there.
Nice. So we'll leave that website in the show notes. And listen, thank you very much for listening again. We can't wait to get into your ear holes next time. And hopefully we'll see you at the club or you see Kim at the club. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.